E aiki o ki tīpuna, he mea tino nui te māra o ia rā.
We kind of know when it's time to harvest our tipu, when we hear the pipi wharauro.
No te tainga mai o te Pākehā I mimiti haere te rāpuna mātauranga. Ko tāku he tūhura anō I e rā mātauranga.
This is not new to us. You know, we lost it somewhere along the line.
Ko tai mai au ki Rangitīkei, ki raro I te maru o rua pehu. I tēnei rā kei te tūtaki au I a Meretini Bennett-Huxtable.
Ka whakamahi a Meretini I te Maramataka I tōna mara me tōna ao ia te rā. E hikaka ana ahau ki te noho tahiki aia me te ako I ēnei mātauranga tuku iho.
I wasn't born here. Was born over in Whanganui. We came for a tangi and we went out to the family home, said there was no one living in it. And my mum shot back to Whanganui and goes to Dad, well, pack up, we're moving home. And pretty much like lived the dream. Not many kids can say, you know, your backyard is your absolute playground and you may not have a pool, but you got a river. So that whole entire worldview of being part of the taiao and being of it was really fostered here.
Tēnā koe.
Oh, kia ora.
A tāhu ake nei tēnei whenua.
Ana, ko tōku kāinga.
Kia ora.
Ko tētai o ngā wero I Rangitīkei, ko te whakatipu kai I ngā huarere kaore I te pai. Engari, ko ako a Meretini I ētahi o ngā tikanga o nehe.
So we have a saying here amongst our iwi, nā kahu parera, kai makariri, kai raumati, I te hinua te whenua. And being in a cold climate, you know, you've got to negotiate not just the winds being at altitude, but negotiate whereabouts the makariri's coming from. And so they diversified the way in which they grew. And it's only on that whakapapa that I hold in my head. If you know how to grow it in the cold and in the hot, then there, ka re raru.
Ko tatarite te māra ki te oho I tana moeroa. A kua rite mo te wā paiana ki te whakatipu-tipu.
So garlic, is it easy to grow here?
Yeah, it is pretty easy to grow. You do have to be careful though. Once rust hits your garlic, that's pretty much your whole entire seed blowing. I always go and give heaps away so that other people can grow it in different locations, and if I lose my seed, I've still got seed somewhere else.
Kāro rangatira tērā.
I use the Maramataka to grow and understand how my whenua works here. Being in my mara as Maraunga, being in the taiao, I absolutely appreciate that taiao is my mentor and my teacher. And hua is the byproduct. If I get anything from it, that's amazing and something I can share out, not necessarily the reason why I do it. People think that things need to look pretty. Well, actually, they just really need to have function. One little seedling of a celery can actually get 4 heads on that, so you don't need to go buying it from the supermarket anymore, and you just pick it off as you need it. These are one of those things that, like the silver beet, I will just leave it in there and just let it go to its heart's content and reseed and repropagate all the time.
So raspberries?
Raspberries, just watch out for our mate in there. We have a bit of a bumblebee hive. A lot of our stuff grows because of the bumblebee, so...
Yeah. What's up with the carpet? He tikanga?
Carl?
Just...
I don't want to weed.
When this is not growing raspberries, do you have to cut it all back, or do you just leave it here and it just continues to grow and then they keep fruiting every season?
No, so I will chop the whole entire thing back till it's just the stalks. And during matamata, during our koanga and mahuru, I'll normally use that to sort of burn for ceremony back into the Mara. And it will come back normally in massive droves as well. So like if you think 10 canes was all this was, and now there's probably a good 200 in here. So at the end of the season and the beginning of the new season, I'll go through and pot up a heap of these and then drop them off at everybody else's houses that wants to have them.
You must be everybody's favourite then.
Ka mahana haere ngā wāhanga o te tau, a me whakarite te one mo te koanga e tū mai nei. E hiahia ana hau ki te mōhio, me pēhea a Meretini e whāngai ana I tōna Mara.
Most of the stuff in my garden is sourced either from recycled stuff or stuff that's already here. So starting at the bottom, I've normally just got cardboard, chuck on grass clippings, leaves, coffee grinds from the local cafes. You can also use a whole heap of the pony poo and that on the sides of the road. So sticks and stuff like that will be in amongst it as well. So my boxes will be filled to the brim. And it's all amazing food for worms. And I really, really appreciate the role that worms play in my Mara. Mm-hmm. But I actually, as a gardener, have a real fear of them.
What?
I know. And my kids love the fact that I'm scared of them. So when we're out here, they think it's the biggest joke to start
Put
picking
some
them.
worms down the back of your shirt.
Yep.
Ahakoa he wero ngā noke kia Meretini ko te taia o te pūtake o tōna whakaaweawe. A ere te tonu tana noho ki te ngahere e kimi ana I te mātauranga o te taiao.
Ko au te taiao, ko te taiao, ko au. Ko au te awa, ko te awa, ko au. So we know that there is this innate connection, whakapapa, to the environment. I knew as a kid that I could look at something in the environment and see something that was reflective back at myself. I would see the veins within a leaf and then shine a torch into my hand and see the veins pop up in my hand. So when we talked about it in Waiata, when you talked about it in Motiatea and things like that, you also saw it. And that to me was what the Maramataka was about. It was about acknowledging all of the different tohu, understanding the relationship that we're having with our taiao constantly. Piko, piko. I don't need piko, piko, but I can see it now everywhere.
Ia Meretini e noho ki te ngahere ka whai wāhi ia ki te whakaaroaro ki ngā neke o te taiao. E ki te ana I ngā tohu hei ārahi I ana mahi I tōna ake Mara.
The piko-pikos everywhere, all of a sudden. So just as another reminder of that growth happening at the moment. Yeah, so I know that with the new leaf, it's a great time to think about what to plant out. Lettuces and silver beets, and that are all going to be thriving at the moment.
I te rā e tō ana, nōku te waimari e te noho tahi ki te whānau o Meretini ki te kai I ngā hua o tana Mara kai. Me te whakaro ki te mātauranga I noho Māori noa ki tōna pāpā, engari I tika kia ako ia mai I te timatanga.
So much of that mātauranga that my dad and your papa use is kōrero tuku iho. And I think for a lot of them, they knew the mātauranga because that was their lived experience, but kind of didn't know
That's
how they knew that. Have you ever talked to your papa about that?
Yeah, when you ask him about it, it just lived in his hands. That's what I've discovered with a lot of our, specifically Maramataka, all of that knowledge has sat in their hands. This generation, that a lot of them lost reo, the reo for them sat in the palms of their hands.
Kei te tonga o taihape te Mara o Meretini. E hara tēnei Mara mo te kai anake. He ara tēnei ki te tūhura I te mātauranga me te whakamātau. Ko te Maramataka tētahi o ngā tino rautaki o te tuhura nei. Mā te rangahau I ki te ai ētahi mea whakamiharo ki tōna ake whānau.
So this is the Maramataka that we found in my uncle's cupboard in their whare. It talks about when to fish, what to plant, and all that sort of information on it. A real practical one in the 1960s, which is where this one is dated around about.
Ko te Maramataka, te Maramataka tūturu o te iwi Māori. E arahi ana te Maramataka I ngā mahi māra, pērā I te whakatō, te ngaki, me te hauhake, e ai ki ngā āhuatanga o te marama. Kua whakamārama mai te rangahau a Meretini I ngā āhuatanga Maramataka e whakamahia e tana whānau ki o rātou māra ko tahi rautau ki muri.
And this one here was one of the older ones that we found in my great-great-grandfather, Utiku Pōtaka's diary. The date on that diary was actually 1868. So it's very basic information. He pai, he kino. He pai rau atu, he tino pai rau atu, he tino kino. So pretty basic, but for what its purpose was in a diary, it makes sense. This is about strategy.
Ko te Maramataka he āta whakarongo ki ngā tohu o te taiao, pērā I o tātou tīpuna. Ka whakamahi a Meretini I tēnei mātauranga I tōna ao me tōna māra hoki.
So hui are not grown for kai,
So some countries they are.
but Māori never really did?
No, this is more used for a vessel like a pātara.
So what determines the shape of your hui? Is it just kei ai o tōna ake tikanga, or it just decides how it wants to grow itself? Or?
Ka tōna whakapapa kākano.
Right.
Yeah.
Whatever their tūpuna look like.
Yep.
Are there signs from the Maramataka that you use when you're growing hui?
Yeah, so not hue specific, but definitely Māra specific. So I've actually split the Maramataka, every marama, into 4 quadrants as a way of trying to make it really accessible. So I have whiro ki tamatea, and so that's my initiate phase, seed planting and the beginning of the marama and what you're doing to plan. Then I go huna, ki turu, and that's my communicate phase. It's really important to understand the connections and communication in that second quadrant of the Maramataka. Then I have rākau nui through to kore kore, which is my activate phase. And of course you get to the full moons and most people know it's high energy for some people. So activate is a really good thing for us to be considering. What are we doing? What are we moving? What are we motivated by? And then the tangaro moons right around Te Mutu Whenua brings us back to the start, and that's our evaluate phase. Making sense, what have I learnt? What am I doing moving forward? Yeah, and so carrying on with that, sometimes 12, sometimes 13 times a Gregorian calendar, we're practicing that. When you grow hui, you're always bound to get a few that don't make it. This one here is one of those ones. And so it's sort of lost a little bit of its integrity around the top, which is never a loss. I will actually probably give this to a friend of mine who's having a pepe, and this will become an ipu whenua for them.
Yeah.
Because it's lost its top. It means...
Oh, he kākano ki roto. So these kākano will grow a hui that look like this.
So if you want ones that are like this shape and this shape, then these are the seeds that you're going to want to take.
So is that you offering to give me some kākano?
I'm happy to sweep these into your hand.
Great, I will take them all and probably won't even be able to grow one hui, but you know what? I'll keep you posted.
Ko tētahi o ngā mea whakamiharo o te māra o Meretini, ko ngā tikanga whāngai. Ohorere au te kite I te hononga I wainganui I a taihape me tangaroa. Kia au nei e hara I te ohorere pairawa.
How do you feel about a cup of tea?
I love a cup of tea.
So this is what I call my seaweed tea,
Yeah.
or another pretty good name for it's kina juice.
Oh, it smells so bad.
Yeah, so...
Sorry. Okay. So what is actually in here?
So right now, there's the last lot of our kina that we've just harvested out diving. Doesn't smell great.
No, okay, so it's got kina juice, kina shells, and then just water?
Yeah, so water, and then we're going to add the seaweeds.
Okay, right, so this just goes inside the bucket?
Yep, so straight in, straight on top.
So what do you actually use it for?
And so it just says, growing up, it was always the thing that went on to our mara.
Yeah.
So the juice sits over the whole of the summer.
Is this a practice that's always happened in your whānau?
Yeah, it is.
Which is interesting because you don't live next to the coast.
Yeah, I know. So I never knew that it was anything unusual being an inlander, going out to the coast. Our people did that all the time. There's so much remnant of it around our whenua that shows that relation. This is a hononga between, hine moana and tangaroa. I like that now, as an adult, rediscovering all those different relationships and how important they are. He wā cup of tea, mō ngā rōpere. And that beautiful scent just rises up
Like
again.
Haunga, haunga, haunga akine. It's like,
Oh, I love the smell of that. It's kina.
so do you have to dilute this part of it?
It's actually just going to go on our raspberries. So they're pretty resilient. We can just pour this straight into there. And we want to avoid getting any of this on us.
Oh, kāre kore. So do you find that using this helps with the flavour profile of the raspberries?
I'm not too sure if it helps with the flavour profile, and that scent is not something you want to be
Tasting
in your raspberries. So, but it definitely feeds them, makes them a lot bigger, fatter, juicier. Just like anything, really. You nurture something with really beautiful kai, it's going to repay you. This is like having a cup of tea with the mara. I know where I've picked all of this up, and I know exactly what I'm giving back in that relationship with hine moana back here in the whenua. So they don't often meet here in the inlands, and I get to be able to recreate that hononga for them.
Ko te timatanga o Noema, ko te māra pātea a Meretini kei te wāhanga kōkiri. E whakamahi ana I te Maramataka hei arataki, kua kōwhiria ia tēnei rā hei whakarite I ona pārai mo te whakatō kumara, hei hauhake I te mutunga o ngahuru.
So what phase is the marama in at the moment?
So we're just moving into the first quarter moon, which is what we call our huna moon. And this is a perfect time for me to really take a scan of everything and understand what I need to do and put into it.
I te rānei, ka ako au I e tai atu rautaki e whakamahi ana a Meretini ki te whāngai tōna māra.
So I've already started some of the work. Next job is going to be laying out some of the sleepers.
Is this ash?
Yeah, it is. So at the end of the seasons, I have all my pruning all done, and so
Just burn it and chuck it all on?
And
is that just a practice that you've kind of made yourself, or is it like some tupuna mātauranga that you found out about?
Both. Something that's always done with Dad is making sure that everything that we did in the mara went straight back in. Yeah, so all the black char is pretty much what I'm hoping for, to get that all back into the soil. So yeah, the ash is there, but it's all this stuff here that's really good and rich. That's the stuff that you see when you're out having a look at the whenua, to look at all the different layers. And these have just come from the raspberry canes, and I remember when I picked all these canes, and now I see them in a new state. which is, you know, a pretty intimate conversation with it. So
It's the life cycle of your mara.
it is the life cycle of my mara. Lots of people will go, why are you putting a mara above the ground when you've got rich soil under the ground?
Yeah.
And I get that, but I also look at the rest of this whenua here and see how much extractions happen from it for a really long time.
Yeah.
And so I'd prefer putting it back on top and keeping what's underneath remaining its natural state. And that when this is all gone and we're no longer here, this whenua still has integrity in its soil.
Engari kaore te biochar anake e whāngai ana I te mara. Ko piri au ki te kāhui mahi a Meretini ki te kohi I tētai atu kīnaki. Mena e whakaro au ko te seaweed tea he tino wero. I te rānei kei a Meretini he taonga mō ngā tamariki.
So we're going to pick up all the sheep hook that's under here, put in the wheelbarrow, put on the back of the trailer, and that becomes the next layer of Auntie's kumara mara down there. Don't kick up too much, you don't want all the dust going everywhere, okay? Sooner we get it done, the sooner we can get out of here.
You guys are excited?
Excited to do this?
No, not too stinky.
Over the years, I've been testing a whole range of different ways to try to grow kumara out here. And I think I've sort of worked on it pretty well. I've normally got a pretty late window for planting out hua whenua, so I can normally continue to plant out until the end of December, right into the beginning of Mātiti, or Raumati, which is where I will be planting my kumara. This year I've opened it up for a good, 4 metres by 4 metres, I think it is. Who wants to be on the rake?
Me?
Last one.
So ko oti naene, is this the last thing you'd put on, or do you continue to add more stuff? What happens next?
No, yeah, I will continue to add more stuff on top. This year I'm actually going to test out putting some volcanic rock around the edges and down the middle of my rows, because I've had a few of our kaumata talk about in this little here, that's what they would do.
Right.
Just to keep all that heat intensified within there. So I'm going to have a test of that. I've got some cousins that are going to bring me down some hangi stones from up on Koro. But yep, no, job's not done. But I've got
Never done.
Yeah, I've got 6 weeks to get this in place. So, and in the meantime, the tipuin that are busy hopefully growing away.
Yeah, and then ahe koe ka whakatoe ngā kumara.
That's all guided by when they're ready.
Sweet, so is that it?
Yeah, normally I'd water it, but today we're just gonna leave the ua to do that job for us.
Yeah.
So, pēhea he koko?
Yeah, haere ki te awa.
Oh, ana, haere ki te awa.
Yeah, whakaro pai te rā.
Whakawātea.
Yeah. Kei o Toia, ki te taho o te awa o Rangitīkei. Our whānau home's just at the top of this hill, so this has been our swimming hole, our bath, mai rā since we've been coming here when my mum was little. It's just a massive amount of memory down here, but a real healing energy for me. I have a really big hononga to this space, and so that's the reason why we come down here, and it's very much a rongoa for all of us, as everything is for me, whether it's in the mara, whether it's in the taiao, and right here at the awa. This is just a real physical expression of it, because you can dive into this one. So, you know, and nō nei, kei tēnei wāhi, and tōku whakapapa ki te awa tupua, ko au te awa, ko te awa ko au. Nothing tells you that more than when you immerse yourself in it.
Pērā i te Rangitīkei ka huria Meretini i tana ara ki te tutuki i ngā wero hou. Pērā i ngā wai whāngai, ka whāngai i a Meretini te whenua, tēnā i te tango. Ko te huarahi toro whānui a Meretini ki tana māra, me ngā ihi kua kitea e ia i te taiao. Kua aki i au ki te para i te ara ki te ako.